The Book of Proverbs, verse 11. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Okay, so, hi everybody, this is Christian RPG Gamers. So, for today's video, it's about a video game called Loop Hero. And the basic gist of this game is there is some kind of a timeless, something like a little timeless like war going on or something, and there's Earth and there's like this place on Earth, and there's some kind of like a supernatural entity, and there's a timeless hero basically called Loop Hero. And I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into the story. I mean, you can watch the little intro story if you want, but basically you're on this endless track of constantly going through, fighting these monsters off, trying to get to the ending of this monster. It's kind of like, I think like Save the World or something. And it's a roguelike. Here, I'll just play a little bit while I talk. And every time you finish the map, you either lose, you can retreat, or you win, and you get a share of the loot, and you can take that loot back with you to your home base, and you can slowly do some upgrades. So there's kind of a rotation, and there's a little bit of an RPG mechanics to it. So also you can pause it. I really can't see the screen too well, to be honest, because it's a little bit bright. But basically you can place these little tiles down, and again, it's also like a very it's kind of, it's a lot like a dungeon crawl. A dungeon crawl roguelike that also has an auto system. Like, you can't really control the battle, but you can control some of the other stuff. So you want to keep in, there's certain upgrades to your character. So basically, you can kind of start out with really nothing, then you can keep getting upgrades. And every time you win a battle, you're going to get some more stuff. And then basically, you want to keep gathering special materials so you can permanently unlock certain upgrades. And eventually, you want to try to beat the map, so you go from different chapters. To be honest, it's a pretty fun and almost like, I would say it's a little bit addictive. You place these little tiles down, they have like certain like special monsters and stuff. And like, you can change certain settings, like how fast you want the character to walk around. You want to pause arguably periodically. Then like your health, you have your health will regenerate slowly. You have a little green bar that shows your health. And then you're gonna want to keep putting these tiles down. It's like the thing called like the meadow. The meadow gives you because there's also a day and night clock. And okay, so you see up on the upper left corner, one bar is the day and night cycle. Is you have a full day rotation. There's some effects that do things every day. Like every 3 days, a skeleton will appear if you have it's like a cemetery or something down. And then once every day you get per meadow you get like X amount of HP. And things like these mountains, they give you increase to your maximum health and stuff. And sometimes they're I can barely see this. But basically, you can get passive bonuses and stuff. And obviously, you gotta pause the game a bit too. But it's a heck of a lot of fun. And I mean, I don't really think there's meant to be anything overly. It's nothing like overly complex. But yeah, you just want to keep going on the map, and then again, the final boss is going to eventually show up. So you basically, I mean, it's like, again, like there is a level of skill. Still pause. Oh, okay. There is some level of skill. I mean, there's obviously a little some random luck. You probably need to get more accustomed to how the game's supposed to work. But basically, you want to keep getting upgrades, and then also when like you get these special little cards, right? So I know one of them is a vampire, like a vampire manor, and like you fight a vampire, right? So you're putting out special extra enemies you can fight. But when you fight the enemies, you you get you get the opportunities to pick up a special loot. Like so like the vampires had a trait called vampirism. I got like a 10. I don't even know how many of these cards I got down here. I'm just gonna test it out. I just want to see what happens. So like, will they go away if you don't use them? Oh, but you get some special material rewards. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm not really an expert on this, to be honest. Again, I only started playing this a little bit yesterday, but I mean, I'm not trying to play super efficiently right now. But again, like if you lose, you get 30% of the loot. If you retreat, you get 60%. I tried to beat the final boss. Initially, I retreated, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna see what happens. Now, I got about halfway through the boss of the first map. The boss killed me. Oh yeah, like here, I just wasn't playing smart right at the end. It's okay, right? I just purposely wasn't trying to be smart about it. Again, you get 30% of your loot. And again, the longer you play, the more opportunities for certain resources you're gonna get. And then they have a little tree here. Again, like it's all about trying to go through the dungeons and trying to beat the bosses, so you can get to the next chapters. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. And then when again, like there's really no major consequences from what I can tell losing. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to go through the map. And again, it's a grind, but sometimes it's also a lot of fun to grind. So like you're putting out certain traps and stuff. But the more traps and things you put out there, the more powerful you'll get. And the more opportunities for resources will come along. So, but you also got to be careful, right? Like you don't want to be you don't necessarily want to be stupid. And like some of these effects can offer negative effects. Again, like you got to be careful because like you got to manage your HP. Like this is a vampire manor. So like you gotta kind of strategize a little bit, and I don't. Again, like I'm not an expert, granted, right? Like you want to keep upgrading your equipment. Like you want to put these rocks down. Sometimes the rocks can turn into a. The rocks can turn into a big mountain, and they'll give you some extra loot. You can get some of these special tiles. But you also want to be careful you don't put too many stuff down at once. Again, because eventually you got to beat the boss, and the boss has a lot of HP, and they're generally very powerful. But if you don't fight enough enemies, you probably won't beat the boss. And you also, this one finishes off weak enemies. Again, you Why can't I put this down? don't know. Maybe I just struggle with be able to see the screen super easily. It is what it is. But it's also a heck of a lot of fun. So yeah, like if the end again, like you gotta watch your HP a little bit. Like the vampirism is pretty nice because it gives you HP every time you would basically like a life link or a life steal. I think, you know, obviously somebody who's more of an expert. Oh man, like my character is getting so low already. Man, I'm not doing great, but oh yeah, I don't have the meadows out yet. Yeah, I was doing a lot better like last night, but at least get the point. Now, I'm making a little review or talking about it. I don't have to do a perfect job when I'm doing a review. And maybe seeing the worst examples is not bad for you either. Oh, man, my character is just getting beat up. Also, you can get some like treasures and stuff. Oh yeah, like treasure Arakias. They'll put a little treasure you can fight. There's no meadow. Don't know why that doesn't want to go down. Oh well. My character honestly is about to die. So yeah, like you also can just flee. I mean, you want to get loot, but yeah, like when the day goes through, I'll get some more HP. I don't have any HP regeneration currently, and I don't really have the vampirism. Here's some HP regen. You basically want to keep upgrading your items. I think they slowly stack. Yeah, like these ones give you more HP, like more flat HP. Road near other trees. Oh, because I didn't have. Okay, there we go. Let's be next to an actual tree. Again, I just really haven't been able to regenerate my HP back. Or maybe I just haven't gotten any kind of good armor or shield yet. I mean, it might honestly just be a little too late. But it's also like a level of the luck of the draw. I don't know if I can heal enough. Ah, it got me. So again, like, I still can't figure. I gotta get more of that resource, whatever this is. Alright, I'll go one more time. I'm just kind of showing the game a little bit. You also get certain classes and there's certain things. You also can see the level of the the addiction and the enjoyment from a lot of this stuff. Like, you just gotta be really smart about where you put your resources down. Spawns a chest. Like, I think there are these little oozes that will show up. And like, honestly, I really haven't run into too much trouble with not having enough space. Like, you want them to, like, the rocks and the mountains, you want to put those next to each other. And like, you, for the most part, I mean, because like the boss will show up after, you know, after the period of time, because it's slowly ticking down. So like, you're probably gonna have more than enough time. You got to be kind of smart about your resource management. Like, there's two different sides of the map. But and like also there is one that lets you can get these new cards on the bottom where you see I'm like kind of messing with them a little bit. Also, I don't think the medals have to be next to each other, and you can stack enemies next to each other depending on, like, you can get like an attack, deal damage to like all enemies or something, or I got some. Um, and again, like, there's a level of a strategy. I think once every once in a while it will pause for you, but meadow. I know when you place certain resources down, you're gonna get some kind of a, like, you can look at your little loot bag. You also can look at your stats, and a little bit of the game is a bit of the luck of the draw. And like, the harder your enemies, the better your stuff. So like, we kind of want to think about a build. I mean, like a vampire house, like this advanced curatism, which is, you know, really nice to heal yourself. Because like, I mean, I was getting pretty low. Yeah, like, here's a nice ring. And like, you always want to just keep. I don't know if there's an overflow of your items or your equipment, but you want to keep upgrading your stuff. I might almost just want to look up some of this information too. You can reduce how many enemies are going to spawn, because like, you want to keep a nice steady flow of basically like loot and resources. Defense, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So some of those might be that might be a helmet or something different. Oh, that's a shield. Okay, right. Regen. Yeah, I'm just gonna equip that ring. Oh yeah, like that turned into like a mountain or some kind of a special big area. So that's a grove. I think this one has to be what put next to it. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of trucking along. Now I don't know the best build ness. I mean, you don't want like too much necessarily like HP regeneration over, like, you know, you don't want to forfeit, like, you know, actual abilities and things you need, but like, you probably want at least some way to heal yourself passively, like some passive regen or some extra, like, you know, special abilities you can kind of manipulate a little bit. You know, like the higher the level, the more better kind of loot and resources are going to drop. Again, like from like a Christian point of view. So, I mean, like, I don't know if I have a direct message. I mean, there's a lot of fantasy stuff. I mean, I do like a lot of fantasy. I especially like the fantasy, like the monsters and stuff you fight. Like, it can get a little morally gray sometimes. But, I mean, overall, I don't really view this as like necessarily like an evil game or something. I don't know. But there are potentially a lot of different messages, like the idea of, like, you know, of stuff like endurance and the willingness and like the need to keep kind of like persevering. It also kind of shows you like the kind of like the meaninglessness of a lot of life. Like, I believe life has value and like life matters, but like at the same time, you can't take any of your stuff with you. And eventually there is certain futilities of life, like from Ecclesiastes, that, like, you know, one day we're all gonna die, right? And a lot of this stuff it's kind of irrelevant. Like, I mean, again, like, I believe life matters, and especially people matter. Like, people's lives matter, but you know, it's just like an endless, unforgiving grind. And like, it does matter, but it's like I mean, like it's a very subjective area. Like, it both matters and it doesn't matter at the same time. But like a video game like this can kind of show you more of the futility of life, which I mean it is a good thing in its own right, I would argue, but it's also very subjective. But I would rather live my life believing that life matters and that things are important. Because, like, what's the alternative option? Like life doesn't matter? Nothing you do matters? I mean, that's a terrible existence to live. Let's pause this. But like again, like you can, like, it teaches you to be like a hero and like to push forward, and again, like, I mean, I love a lot of roguelikes and rogue style games, and there is a layer of truth to that. And it's just like kind of soul crushing, but it's just like, it's the truth. What else are you supposed to do about it? You can't do anything about the truth. It's just, it is what it is. But you just got to keep pushing forward, I guess, you know, like until you die, right? And then when you die, that's the end of your journey. If you're a Christian, you go to heaven. Obviously, I mean, again, like I mean, you should want to live and you should want to push forward, but it also just like there's just sometimes just nothing you can do. It's like, I mean, like what else can I tell you? It's just the truth. But it also, again, like, it teaches you, like, you know, again, like excessive pursuit of money. It's like, you know, like you could spend your entire life trying to earn money, and you might realize that, like, say you spend, like, you know, 50 years of your life and you make $1 million, and, you know, one day you just die, right? And all that money is just gonna go to someone else. It's not gonna be you. It might be your family, it might be your children, but it also might not be. Like, I mean, like, it's hard to tell. It could go to government. It could go to your children. It could go to, like, your children could squander it. You never really know. Like, yeah, I probably would argue it's better to pursue and to try. But there is a level of futility in it. And that also, like, you know, in holiness, glorifying God and serving His will, like, it will all work out better if you glorify God. And at least you're going to have eternal value and eternal life. Or maybe, or at least you get to believe and perceive this as if it's true. Which in its own right is a good thing. There is, like, you know, the perception of reality, and then sometimes there's actual reality. The sun's just so bright. I think I've been putting them all down here on this bottom. I mean, I don't know if this is the best choice decisions I made, but it is what it is, right? I also don't know that you can get multiples of those mountains. And, like, I'm not an expert. Like, I'm not like a full-scale expert on this. I'm playing it for a little while. And there is wisdom to just sometimes retreating in the game. Now, I usually don't like to, now maybe I'm just like a proud mule. I generally hate retreating. But the thing is, you do get your, oh yeah, I mean, I'm real low on health though. But there is wisdom to, am I gonna die here? No, okay, I have a pause, okay. Oh man. Higher level vampirism. Where am I at? Oh. Let's see here. Oh, like the counter ability. I'm not sure what the counter ability entirely does. Again, like it's not like I really read a manual on this or something before I played it, but like again, like maybe I'm a bit of a proud mule. Let's see here. HP per day, vampirism, defense, regen per second. Like I feel like it's not terrible. Okay, we'll you know what? We'll push forward. I don't know. Maybe I made a bad mistake here. 62 HP. Another vampire house. Yeah, this bottom corner is just like hell on earth. It's probably gonna be my end. Yeah. Well. Also, if I would have retreated, I would have got the 60% rather than 30. But it's like there's also no glory at the same time. So yeah, that's the basic gist of this game, and it kind of like it's just like this endless, unforgiving, grinding loop of playing the game. I think it's like $5 or $7 on the Play Store. I'm not sure if this game's on PlayStation or, I'm sure there's a PC version of it, but it's not a terribly expensive game. It's not a terribly deep game either, but. I enjoy my roguelikes. I also enjoy my deck builders, all my little card games, and all these little kind of things. Even if they are just kind of like a little one-shot every once in a while. I enjoy experiencing some new ones. And sometimes they suck, and sometimes they're really good. So that's kind of like, maybe it's like a little bit of having some faith, right? So if you like the game, consider giving it a chance. You support some indie developers. I mean, people are always mad about how the gaming industry is so terrible. But if you went out and supported an indie developer, they might be able to build you a better game. And they're not as rotten as it is. Well, one day they might be, but support some indie developers. Maybe you'll get a great game. Who's to say? We could have a little faith. All right, so I guess as I'm normally trying to say. In the comment section below, let me know what your thoughts are about this game. And if you have any tips or tricks on how to get better at this game, or if you know what the counter ability does, like a counter with a percentage, or if you know what material am I missing here on either of these two things on the bottom. It says like I need I think 3 out of 4 and like 3 out of 7, or also like what kind of tips and tricks, like how to get better at this game. How much should you keep going forward versus how much should you be willing to retreat. And yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are about this game. All right, thanks for watching. God is good.